Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome episode of Push the Point, where we are at our finale of the first takes of the Part of the Misfail deck text. We have got Maximilian from the Value Vampires from Germany. Dude, how are you?
Hi, Hamish. Nice to be here again. I'm pretty good. I just came back from Tokyo and had a very great time there. It was really normally when I came back from, as example, from Los Angeles or from another holiday country. I was most of the time I was like, it was not as I expected it. But for
Right.
Tokyo and Japan, it was really how I imagined it and what I expected to be there.
In the best
So it was,
way.
yeah, in the best way. It was really awesome for me.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that the Tokyo experience was just in full effect. But we'll talk about this another time. Everyone's here for one thing and one thing only. It is Enigma,
Ooh.
the Ledger of Ancestry. So when we set this up, we didn't obviously know what any of these heroes would do. But when you look at a ninja and you look at an assassin, you kind of go, yeah, okay, yeah, you kind of know what you're going for, right? And the same with Illusionist. You know it's going to be a board state type of hero. But Enigma, in the name, is a bit of an enigma. There is a lot is a big puzzle box here. So give me your thoughts on Enigma.
So I was pretty surprised when I saw that there was no Phantasm attacks at all in the set for Enigma. I expected the shoes to be a reprint of the Phantasmal Footsteps because it looked pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting some attacks and some ward stuff because she got, or Illusionist got a lot of ward equipment, as example, the kimono. And I was waiting so I can finally use these cards. So then hopefully get finally good.
But so with a hero ability, so your first spectral shield attack each turn costs one less to activate. Very simple, right? It seems low. Yeah, it's very simple.
Yeah, at first it looks a bit underwhelming, but I think she gets stronger the later the game goes on. So when she starts to do the ability in the opponent turn and in your turn, and then put a lot of pressure on the opponent, then I think she gets really good.
Yeah, that's an instant chi, picture chi card, create a spectral shield with a +1 counter on it. Yeah, like I've been mucking about with this as well, and it was a little bit like, like you said, and then when you
honestly a lot of
it's really good.
It's also a lot of fun, I think, and exploring the new Mystic heroes. There's so many card choices, especially for Enigma, since she has access to more than one weapon.
Yeah, she really does. So let's get into it, right? Let's get into the equipment here. So we're not using Cosmos because I knew for some weird reason you're just going to bring some little spice here. You've gone for the Iris of Reality, the old school, the OG weapon of all illusionists. So you pitch the Illusionist Aura comes in with a 4 base and it has go again, right? It's really, really simple. With a hero with a lot of blues, a lot of people were thinking of this weapon, but why did you?
A lot of people are currently testing Cosmo.
Yeah.
And for me, especially in the release week, I always try to test the stuff that not a lot of people are testing. So I want to find the spice.
Yeah.
Find the secret sauce, as example. So, and I think there are some things you can see on Twitter. Some people are posting about their stupid iris list and how broken iris is, but it's a little bit hidden.
Yeah.
But I think there is something to it.
Okay. So what is it that Iris is doing for you then in this list?
So for Iris, I think the Spectra cards are way better.
Yeah.
With Cosmo, it says that you can only attack with ward cards. So with Cosmo, the Spectra cards like Haze Bending, Shimmer of Silver, and even Passing Mirage and Pierce Reality are not very good. They are fine, you can play them, but they are not at their best. And I think what is really problematic for some heroes is when you start combining a lot of ward with a lot of defensive cards, and then also add the Spectra cards that a lot of people know from the past.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Right, so let's move it on. We'll go over to the Meridian Pathway, her legendary equipment boots. I'm really glad to see these come into play because I think there's a big debate around Phantasmal Footsteps. But you've chosen her Mystic equipment. What is it about this card that you feel like is doing for this list?
I think for the usual Cosmo list, the Meridian Pathway is most of the time just a tree block.
Yeah.
So you can protect your, as example, the manifestation of Mirror Guy or another very important ward card. But for this deck, I also hope that I can flash, as example, 2 to 3 auras in an instant in my opponent turn into the battlefield to overlord the board and make it very hard for my opponent to deal with all these auras at once.
And at the same time, you can turn around and go, look, I've just instant in these 2 things to make that board state a lot better. And then, I'll just block free for it. It's done its job. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is Ward, though, I'm starting, and this will be a bit of a theme, and I might as well just kick this off a bit now, that there's been a lot of cards printed in the past that all say about ignoring prevention. Is that something that with all these wards and everything that are coming in, when you use Cosmos, is actually a bit of a problem? Is that something that you're worried about?
I think the Iris list with the Spectra auras will definitely hold their own a little bit better against the can't be prevented cards. For example, if Zalea does a 12 damage dominate arrow, it's very hard to block this. You have the defense reactions, the small ones, Sink Below, Fate Foreseen, and Unmovable, I think in most of the Enigma lists currently. But even then, it's sometimes hard to really block it completely out. I think that the Spectra are better suited for this, especially in my Iris list. I don't have that many ward cards.
Okay, so we're kind of just, and that's this is again as we're going to go through this, you've actually also very kindly give us another list as well, which we're not going to go into too much, but we'll just throw it in at the very end just to have a little peruse through, and the deck link will be below. She's definitely a hero that just goes, what are you going to see? What are you going to see flip up at the start of the game? Because she is it could be any 3 of these sort of weapons, and they're all 3 different approaches. It's very fascinating. Anyway, let's move on. Traverse the universe, bro. Auto include every card in Mystic Heroes. It is, go on. You break it down. It's so good.
I heard from LSS himself, or I think Brian Gottlieb mentioned this card, that it had the most alliterations of any card in Mistral. So they were going back and forth with the card and were not sure how to balance it exactly. I'm pretty surprised at the card because I think it's very strong. So even better than Balance of Justice when it's active. Maybe the Mystic Hero needed this strong of a card. So I'm not sure. But the ability to activate it on when you need it the most. So as example, I also saw Sen use it to have 6 card hands. And Enigma can also pretty good use it when she draws the manifestation of Mirror Guy. So I think the strongest card in Enigma's deck. And especially if you draw this card, the card wants a cheat pitched for this card. So it's get better.
I like the balance of this though, is that it is basically, there's times where I was like, man, I ain't drawing chi. And Traverse the Universe is, you don't block with it unless you flip to chi, right? Basically, you just don't block with it. And then it is going to sit there going, I'm not going to do much until the chi shows up. And I know it's very small. It doesn't take away any way of its own power, but it was just a little nod of interest about this card that I found okay, if I don't have a chi, which you will, I know you will at some point, but how much are you going to take until the chi shows up? And then how much are you going to take to flip a chi, and then all of a sudden Traverse the Universe is really good. How much did you take until this becomes the relevant card it needed to be? Other than Crown of Providence, that is like, I'm ready when you are, bro. You know, on the get-go.
The Traverse the Universe card also reminded me a lot of the Halo of Illumination from Prism.
Yeah.
So it's the one button Joker, as example.
Yeah.
Call it that. And I think it fulfills a similar role to have a pretty power turn and also get tempo on your side if you want to. So Prism can also use the Halo to make a Herald hit, for example, or shoot something with Figment of Ravages. So it's kind of similar, and I also can use the Traverse to start really swinging back and attacking my opponent.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. We'll move over to Find Our Spring Tunic, a card that I think, well, it just shows up in every deck list at this point. It's such a universally good card. Why is it coming into Enigma?
To be fair, there's not a better alternative to it. I don't think we have any better equipment. The Light Illusionist has the Vestige and the Imperial Rapture, I think. It's a new card from Prism. So I was hoping Illusionist also gets a new chest, or that the Kimono gets more played. I like Tunic, but it gets boring, to be fair.
It does a bit. You can't take away from the fact though that, hey, you get a resource. This will be handy. It's just...
So what I really liked with the old Prism was activate Tunic and then Wartune Herald for 7 or Miraging Metal for 7.
Yeah.
That feels unfair.
Yeah. and that's the power of Tunic. And he went to Wave of Reality. Okay, cool, right? Because everyone is picking the cloaked flip up card hand, right? The one that just puts a +1 and it's got Ward 1. Why Wave of Reality?
I think you need the order with Cosmo to give your auras with Ward go again.
Yeah.
But for this build, Iris also always gives my auras go again. So I don't need the +1 counter. Maybe the +1 counter can also be good. I think it's a personal preference. I wanted to test the Wave of Reality first, but I could also see the arm slot.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, really, that because you have to pay for the cloaked hands. I forgot what the name was called, but I'll just call it the cloaked hands. This is just going, isn't it? You know, turn 1. Here we go.
Spectra Shield also helps me attack immediately. So if I want to let some damage through, I get the Spectra Shield and can start swinging it immediately. So if my opponent starts with turn 0 and attacks me, sometimes I will just take the damage to get a Spectra Shield.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, well, that's your core equipment here. Let's get stuck into this very interesting deck here, but I've been doing it with the other two as well. Let's start off with the Chi cards because it's a Mystic Hero. I think just starting with the Chi is where it's at. So the Homage to Ancestry, gain 1 health, of course. That's in every single one. Pass over. Banish a target hero's card from the graveyard. Well, yeah. Banish target card from the graveyard. Easy. Perverse Tradition. Put target action card to the bottom of your deck. Easy. Rising Sun, Setting Moon. Draw a card, put a card from the bottom of your deck. Another easy one as well. And wow, okay, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa. This is
drop in the ocean I have, I think, on the top.
A drop in the ocean. There it is. Target. This is the only one, and I'm not surprised to see this in Enigma. The other two don't put it in. Target attack gets -1, but that kind of really does feed into what Enigma wants to do, and of course her Sacred Art Immortal Lunar Shrine. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Chi cards. I think the other two ran with 7. I can't really remember. Fair enough. We can run through it. What is it about the... Well, let's do a drop in the ocean, okay? What is it about this card?
So drop in the ocean is actually the worst one, especially since I don't play the blue defense reactions currently, other than Hold the Line. To be fair, I don't like the Chi cards. but I think you kind of need them.
You do
But I
kind of
really,
need them.
yeah, but I would play less. I could see myself playing less. The first one I would cut is a drop in the ocean
Okay.
because you need to have a target, and sometimes you just don't have a target.
Yeah. So, and I'd say that the homage to Ancestry's Passover, Rising Sun, Setting Moon, and they're easy. I think they especially the Rising Sun and Homage to Ancestry are they like the two auto picks? Like if you're going to put them in because they'll work. They'll just do their thing.
Yeah. You want some cheat cards that can flip at the start of your turn.
Yeah.
So you don't have to attack and pitch a blue. You want to pitch your G sometimes, especially if you have two cheat cards in your hand.
Yeah.
I think especially with Enigma, it's sometimes hard to activate the Transcend cards.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have that good blues. I have Spectra Auras, but then I play the Spectra Auras, don't have an action point. I transcend and make a Spectra Shield and pass. That doesn't feel good.
No.
So,
yeah, it is a slightly awkward thing.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So this is where you went down to the lowest points, but let's talk a bit about her Sacred Art Immortal Lunar Shrine. So if you do manage to play a blue, you can pick all three, which is create 2 Spectral Shield tokens, put a +1 counter on each one with wards you control, transcend. This card in this list feels a bit, you know?
It's not that strong, yeah. You're definitely right. I'm still testing with it, but I think it's still good enough. So even if I just create 2 Spectral Shields and already have one, so all of them gets a +1 counter. But it depends. I mean, what's so good about the second art is that you get also the G to your hand. So it's just for one card you create 2 Spectral Shield with 2 counters. I think that's still good, already good.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Right. So they're your chi cards. Let's go through now. Crikey Almighty. Like, this is the thing about Enigma. Let's start with some easy ones, right? Because we're playing Iris, let's talk about Spectras, right? That seems like a really good, solid ground to go on. Is that fair? It's like, the Spectras are kind of a big, you got to get them right.
Yeah, I think if you want to play a lot of Spectra, then Iris is an option. So with Cosmo, you most of the time just play the 3 haste bending and some shivers, or even then, they don't feel that great. So with this list, I definitely just want to play Spectra Auras to make the life hard for my opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's kick off with one of the most pain-inducing Spectras imaginable, haze bending. So, once per turn effect, whenever haze bending or whenever illusionist token or you control is destroyed, create a Spectral Shield token. Man, this card is pain.
Yeah, that's a really ugly one. I was actually thinking just adding some more ward cards like the Waning Vengeance just for haze bending because it's so strong if you have haze bending on board. And some heroes don't attack the Spectral Auras at all anymore, or they can't. Victor is a good example. He just can't attack the Spectral Auras. He just has to leave them there and hope it's not too problematic.
And it always is. And it always is. Okay, and the second most pain-inducing Spectra is Shimmers of Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
especially with this, I hope I can play a Manifestation of Mirai Guy and then get some counters there. And another very strong card is also the Restless Coalescence. Coalescence? Okay, let's just call it the Restless card with a lot of cats.
Yeah. It's Restless Coalescence.
So if you can add counters to this and then just spam Spectral Shields, that also gets a very impressive, I think.
Yeah, we'll move over to Restless Coalescence in a minute, right? Because that card is like layers upon layers. That one, it's brilliant. Okay, the Pierce Reality. You went for 3 copies of this. The first illusion attack action card you play gets +2. I know that this card is going to be the card that you're going to swing with Iris, but does its text also have any relevance?
At first, I was running also Spears of Serenity
Yeah.
and some other illusionist cards to make this better. But currently, I've found that Sensor is better instead of Spears of Serenity. But I'm not sure. You can definitely add some more illusionist cards to give it more text. Currently, I have the Mirage Metamorphs, the blue Enigma Chimeras, and also two Phantasm Cards in the sideboard.
Yeah.
But I think if you add some Spears of Serenity, it could be better.
Yeah, that's fair. And only 2 copies of Passing Mirage, a card that I think probably the one that everyone has seen the most of because Dromai actually does run it. The first illusion attack each turn loses and can't gain Phantasm. You only went for 2 copies. Is it because the Phantasm loss is not that relevant?
Yeah, so Mirage Metamorph, not many people will pop it at all.
Yeah.
Probably it's the most useful on Enigma Chimera from the attacks. I actually hope to stick a Passing Mirage for my Phantom Tide more in the sideboard. I think for this one, the Passing Mirage is the best.
Mm-hmm.
I could even see going to 3 Passing Mirage and cutting 1 Pierce currently with the deck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
So we can actually do that. I think that's is a valid point to do that currently.
Okay, well, when you see the deck list, if you see these 2 swap round, that's probably what's going to happen. But in this video, we're keeping it like this. But play around, 100%. Play around with the list. Okay, so that's your Spectras. We'll move over to. Let's talk about your war cards. I think that's a good position to move on to the war cards now. The 1 copy of Waning Vengeance Red. 1 copy.
I mean, it's not so good with 5 because it's just attacking for 4. So I like it more for the Ward tree, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's more. I'm currently testing it to see how it works. So with Enigma, your Spectral Shield costs 1 less. So if you have Spectral Shield, you attack with for 2 resources with the Iris of Reality, and then you have 1 floating. So with the 1 floating, I want to follow up with the Sensor, Mirage Metamorph, or maybe the Waning Vengeance. So I'm currently trying to figure out what the best number of 1 cost is.
That's fair enough. So, but you're still playing around with it. But man, Waning Vengeance, so I don't know. Seeing 1 coffee, bro. Yeah, it's got to be one of the best wards I think she has access to. Right, that's not a Majestic. I know that there's 2 cards in the Majestic camp that will take that claim, but we'll get there. Essence of Ancestry Mind. Okay, right. I don't get this card. You can explain it to me.
It's a 3 block and a blue card.
That's true.
And I think if you don't have anything better to do with your turn, you can just play it out.
Yeah.
And it also maybe protects your other ward cards if it pops. So I think it's a good block. And also there's some synergy because sometimes people actually attack with blue cards now. And also with the Vengeful Operation. If I wanted to have some more 1 cost auras.
But what
then flash in.
The only thing that I'm finding with this though is that because you're also slamming down Spectras and they're not being dealt with, this text box is just, Ward 2.
Yeah, it depends on your opponent. You have to kind of see how they, if they are respecting the Spectras. Some people are trying to clear them every turn, and some people are ignoring them at all. If you see your opponent ignoring them at all, then you probably just block with it for 3 or use it to attack with the Spectral Aura. So if you have the Spectral Auras, most of the time you will just pitch the blue cards to attack for 4 or for 5.
No, that's fair. I always keep forgetting that this card blocks for 3. I'm like, the second I see it, I go, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was important for me. If it wasn't 2 block, then I would never play
it. Yeah, that's totally fair. That is totally fair. Right, and then again, I think the Vengeful Apparition kind of fits in that same camp, right?
Yeah, with the Spectral Auras, it's the best, probably.
Yeah.
But it's still not a great card. You want to play it with when you have like 3 defense reactions or a Miraging Metamorph, maybe some other defensive stuffs, and they just block out and then you play it out to it's also good if your opponent always tries to clear the Spectra cards. Then it's a good one.
Yeah.
So you can attack and stick maybe 2 to 3 Spectra cards. With Prison in the past, the plan was always to overload the board and play 2 or 3 auras at the same time. And with this Vengeful Apparition, you can also do something similar.
And I suppose really as well, it's like that. It's like a contextual plan B, because the card is very contextual. But when you've got Meridian Pathway just on the board, ready for you to just execute the game plan, you know that one's probably going to do its job more reliably. But at the same time, yeah, I do agree that, hey, you never know. I'll just put it down. If you do something, do I have it? Do I not have it? And you go, yeah. It blocks with 3, so that's another awesome reason.
If it has some synergy in Enigma deck, then I think it is one.
Yeah, no,
with that many Spectra auras.
That's fair. Right, let's get stuck in. Right, let's get stuck in to the good ones, the beefy boys itself. Oh, we'll go with Manifestations of Miragi. Oh, this card is broke.
Yeah, I overestimated it myself. And when I get to play against this on a pre-release, I was like, oh, now I see.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this attacks for 4, whatever. But then I was reading it again. Oh, it's 8.
Yeah, I got this wrong. Fun story.
Yeah.
I know this is your deck tip, but very fun story. Played this card out, pitched a cheese I was playing Cosmo, swang in for 8, and I genuinely thought Talashar was bugged. Because I literally, all of us went, why is it coming in for 8? It's like, oh, I don't know, it's doubling it up for no reason. Yeah, I didn't realize Ward is 4 plus 4 tokens is 8, obviously. I actually gave the opponent their health back because I was like, no, sorry, this is meant to be 4, not 8. Yeah, I was totally wrong. But Manifestations of Mirago, as you pointed out, in Iris, so because it's coming in with a base 4, and it's also got 4+1 counters on it. I mean, that's an 8 go again.
It's also 8, but if you play it out with just 2 counters, then it's 6. And that's better than with Cosmo the 4.
Yeah.
So it's probably better with Cosmo, to be fair, but it's still very good in this deck.
Yeah, Iris has got a better floor, but Cosmo's got a better ceiling. Yeah.
Especially if you can add more counters to it, then Cosmo is better.
Yeah. it gets a little bit wild. But I love, this card is just single-handedly, like, it's Enigma's, like, power card, right? Yeah. And Restless Coalescence, the cat card, the card with cats, the cool cat card. It's when this enters the arena, move any number of +1 counters from auras you control onto this, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So if you're coming in, you can just soak up all those +1 counters as this instance into the board. But once per turn instant, remove a +1 counter from this, create a Spectral Shield token. Mamma mia, this card is crazy.
Yeah, I also think the floor of this is it's a yellow 2-block. That's the bare floor.
Yeah.
This card. And if you can combine this, I think that the crazy stuff you can do with this is with the Phantom Tidemore.
Yeah.
If you have like a very beefy Phantom Tidemore and then soak up all the counters. And the games I won the most, the best, were when I started spamming Spectral Shields. And I just activated anytime I could.
Yeah.
So just remove a counter, create a Spectral Shield, and then remove a counter again.
Yeah.
So that was the most unfair thing I think this card can do.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, I know that Fano's done a deck tech with Enigma, and he did point out very nicely that this, with, like you said, with Phantom Tidemore, like if the Phantom Tidemore's got loads of counters, yeah, you slap this down, he takes all the counters from Phantom Tidemore, and then I'll put Spectral Shields down, which will then kill it, and then put counters back on Phantom Tidemore. It's just like this. I do think that it's a bit pipe dream to get that going super smooth. If that's happening, I think you've genuinely won the game before that was even happening, right?
Yeah.
But it's really cool that it could happen.
I mean, we also have the Astral Etching in the list. that puts 3 counters on something with what. And even just that, and as example, if you play the Wrestlands card Aus,
Yeah.
and then you put the Astral on it, and then you attack, and then start creating the shields. So you get a lot of value if you attack first with the card with the counters on it, and then start moving the counters to something else, and then attack again, as example.
Yeah, it's yeah. So these are the ward cards. I think I've not missed anything else out. No. Well, I think it's. I know we're talking about we're touching on the inventory here, but I can imagine Phantom Tidemore is another ward card, and I think I'm just going to throw this in here as well. So whenever an illusionist card you controlled is destroyed, put a +1 counter on this. Right? Seems it's really good. It has Phantasm though, which is like really weird.
Yeah, so I think most of the time you will just hold it back and let it eat all the counters.
Yeah.
And don't attack with it until you have the safety or remove the counter to something else. I heard the Mirror Breaker also. I didn't test the mirror yet, but I heard it's very useful in the mirror. For example, the card.
Yeah. So when is this card? I know I'm jumping into the inventory a bit early, but when is this card coming in?
I think against decks that have trouble clearing all the wound cards.
Yeah.
So with decks that have maybe some smaller numbers, but not that lot of chain links.
Sure.
So against Victor, maybe Assassin, Warrior, I think, the Mirror.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, so there's your wall cards. Let's talk a bit about your Phantasm cards. So we've got Enigma, Chimera, which is your blue 2 for 6, block for 3. This is just your nice cookie cutter, big attack.
I actually won a lot of clashes with this card.
That's fair. That's fair.
When the Victor players revealing a 5 power attack, and then you were like, oh, Enigma Chimera. It's pretty funny.
Why did you put this in?
It's just when I have, as example, 2 auras on my field, and then I attack twice for 4 with my Iris, and then I have still an action point. And sometimes you have also the Pierce Reality and can just attack for 8 with the Enigma Chimera. It's more of like a win-more card, but sometimes you can really use it.
There's another illusionist card that if they pop it, it makes a Spectral Shield token, and that one's a 3 for 6 that blocks 3. Is there a reason why you didn't want to include that? This one pick was over that one.
You could try it. I found it too costs to be useful sometimes because of the tunic. A typical line is attack with a Spectra Shield that costs 2, and then activate tunic and play out Command and Conquer or the Enigma Chimera.
Of course. I don't even consider. I just completely, my head just skipped a beat there. It's like, yeah, because the first attack you do with Iris of Reality, it costs 2, not 3. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, that's really cool. Didn't really think of that. The best, one of the best Phantasm cards in all of Illusionist, the Mirage and Metamorph. Not shocked at all to see this, especially with Spectra on the board. When this is destroyed, create a token that's a copy of an aura you control. God, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
This card does 7 damage for 1. And that's enough for me.
Yeah.
And then it has some additional attack, whatever.
Yeah.
But it does 7 damage for 1.
I don't think there is many, is there? If at all, a 1 for 7.
Herald, I think.
Watering Herald. Yeah.
Yeah. From prison.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I never played below a 9 of these. Of the Watering Heralds.
Yeah. Never. 1 for big number is always really good. Really good. So that is your main board Phantasm cards. Of course, as well, you do have Phantasm in the sideboard as well. So 3 for 9. Really big number.
It's not that bad, honestly. And especially if you have a Pierce Reality out. It's also a card that you would want to include if your opponent is more defensive or more mid-rangey to break through that defensively.
Yeah, I was going to say so this card is coming in for those defensive games. Fair enough. That's cool. So there are your Phantasm cards. Now let's go through the others, the other attack cards. I will just say, actually, I tell you what, Ancestral Etching is this probably should have been laced into the auras. What is this doing?
So most of the time when I build some decks, I also think about the Christmas Wonderland.
Right.
What the deck can do.
Yeah.
Especially in League. And you can, if you have like a very big card with a lot of counters, then you just attack once for 10 or something and block with everything else. And I really like the idea of that, to make something pretty huge and protect it also. And then, and also it has a synergy with the Restless and the Manifestation cards.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the fact that I do like the synergy of this is that even if you just bring in one Spectral Shield token, you swing for it for 2, and it does leave you one floating to go and +3.
Yes, exactly. And if it survives one turn, awesome. If not, it already did 3 damage, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's like a razor, isn't it? Really, it's a 3-block razor effectively. So yeah, all right. They're your illusionist cards effectively. They're your good old illusionist cards. Let's talk a bit about some attacks. Battlefront Bastion, 3 for 7. The new card coming out in this set. When this defends alone, prevent the next 1 damage that will be dealt to you this turn. Blocks for 2. So why have you put this in?
This card is really an overperformer. There are a lot of attacks currently for 1 to 2. And even if you don't need it defensively, attacking for 7 is always good.
Yeah.
And I think I like the flexibility. It's also a 7 popper against Prism if she is a problem. So it's a really flexible card, and I really like it in this deck.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. That's really cool. So, Censor. Censor. Okay. So when this hits, name a card. They can't play the name card until the end of the next turn. Is
Crouching Tiger. Crouching Tiger.
We got there, everyone. It's a Zen hate card. So, but this is main board. What's it doing in the main board?
So first, I was playing the Spears of Serenity to have some more illusionist attacks, and also, as you said, I most of the time have the 1 floating because I'm attacking with the Spectra Shield for 2, and so I was looking for cards for 1 to make the turn more efficient. And a usual turn is attacking the Iris for 4 to 5. And then I want to follow up with something. So with Censor, it's a 2-card 9 if I attack for 4 first. And 2-card 9 is good, I think.
2-card 9 is good. 2-card 9 is always good. All right, okay. So that's that. And, of course, the levels of enlightenment. The holy mecca of all mystic cards.
Also 1 cost.
Also a 1 cost. I will ask the question, Max, as I did with the others. Is Levels of Enlightenment the best card for Enigma over the other 2? Or is this card better for the other 2? Give me your verdict.
I think every deck will put this card first into it.
Of course they will. They will all put them in. But is this best for Enigma? Or is Zen and Nu making the most of this? Be honest.
I mean, Enigma. So I think Nu most of the time will just pitch 1 blue. I think the best turns for Nu is pitching 1 blue.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that great for Nu. And Zen, he will most of the time pitch 2 blues. So he will pitch the first blue to activate his ability, and then he needs the other blue to activate his weapon and some other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's the worst for Nu, and for Enigma and Zen, it's probably tied.
Oh,
definitely not so good for him.
Oh, there you go. Right, everyone is a big fan of Levels of Enlightenment, but why would you not? It's a 1/4. If you pitch a blue, it's pick one, right? And it's mostly go again, or it could be the +2, or it could just be I need to put a card in Arsenal. Such a great card.
It's just the flexibility. Some people also call it the blue enlightened strike.
Yeah.
I think I would probably still play it even if it's a 2-block. So that's how strong this card is.
Yeah. And the fact that it blocks with 3 though, it's just doing everything. Of course, this card is in the deck. I think that's in terms of the attacks. We are good. I know that we'll tap into. Let's tap into CNC. You got 2 copies of CNC in the sideboard. CNC, bro. Everyone's got CNC, right?
Yeah.
So why CNC?
Yeah, it's just a good card. With the attacks, I'm just trying to figure out how many 2 cost and how many 1 costs I currently want. So you kind of have to play a lot with the deck and then see how often you have the tunic on 3 and don't use it. And if it's the case, then you know, okay, you need some more 2 cost attacks. Then I would play 1 more CNC as example.
That's fair. That's fair. So it's about, you could go up to 3. Currently running on 2.
Yeah.
All right, and we got some blue. We got some funky blue cards. 2 copies of this round's on me. This card's really good, right? I feel like this is doing a lot of work for Enigma.
Yeah, you can probably just also play 3. If you want to, you can cut the Essence of Ancestry Mind or Vengeful Aberration.
Yeah.
It's very good against Zen and Katsu and the Fine Ninja. And you can also use it to transcend with your chi. It's a pretty good transcend target. So I really like this card.
Yeah.
Especially with the go again on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a blue block 3, which is ticking the box. And then 3 copies of Warmonger's Diplomacy in the main board. Okay.
Yeah. I think Azalea is rough for this deck. So you kind of want to hate a bit against Azalea. Azalea won a lot of tournaments in the past.
Yeah.
Michael Fang and Brody Spurlock has had some very good success with Azalea. And I think she will not get worse this meta. She will get even better, maybe.
Yeah. So
I think you need these.
The Warmongers you're that convinced that it's not even a sideboard card. This card is main board. But then again, it's a blue block 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Right.
It's pretty easy to play these.
Yeah. And I'm sure you'll be handy on a number of occasions. Right. And that is your main board. Okay. And your sideboard. Right. We have kind of touched into CNC, Phantom Tidemore, and Phantasm. That just moves over to basically your defense, and it just seems
the boring stuff.
It is defense, but Fate for Scene, 3 copies of that. Sink Below, Immovable. It's a 3 cost, and you got loads of blues. Hold the Line, cool. It's a cool card.
Hold the Line could actually be a 3-off also. It's a pretty easy transcend target because if you think about it, instead of blocking for 3, you will just block for 2 and also transcend. So it's an easy way to transcend.
Yes.
And cheating.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And if you're up against, it's a great card against anyone that's a Slamming Art of War or Bloodrush Bella on the board.
Yeah, then it has some additional use case.
Absolutely. So I will just say that there's this new defense card for the Mistveil set. I think it's called Untangle or something. I can't really remember.
Unravel, I think. Unravel Aggression.
Yeah, Unravel Aggression. That's it. It's a blue 5 block defense reaction. Cost 3. If you pitch to Chi, you get to draw a card. You didn't opt to put this into the deck. How come?
With the Iris list, I wanted to focus a little bit on the synergy. So that's why I put in the Enigma Chimera, the Essence of Ancestry Mind, and also the Vengeful Aberration to really test these cards. I think the Unravel is a fine card. Most of the time, it's a little bit worse than Unmovable. But I think it also depends how the meta evolves, how many large D-reacts you need.
Yeah, it's also that weird. It's a really weird interaction of. It's like, okay, well, this will help me transcend. But I want to. I want the Chi card before I
I think a lot of people are currently trying 1 or 2 copies, so they can pitch it early and have it in the late game when they already have some cheat cards
Yeah.
to pitch for it, and then also try and set other cheat cards. So I think that's the case for this.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And then you got the Flicker Trick, which I actually just passed over. 2 copies of Flicker Trick.
I mean,
Yeah.
as I said before, I'm a simple man. I like 7 for 1 and I like 5 for 0. So sometimes it's just good numbers.
Yeah, that's fair. I take it this is very, very matchup dependent. It's
so I think when you look at the upcoming meta, we can expect Sen and the Brutes.
Yeah.
And against Brutes, it often can block a Claw for 5.
That's true.
And against Sen, if you just block a 4 attack, it's still good.
Yeah.
And even if they then have Art of War, it's still okay.
Yeah. No, I can see why this slotted in very, very nicely. And then you got your 3 null runes, which is for your Kano matchups basically. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I can see Crown of Reflection. I can see Null Rune Gloves, right? The Null Rune Robe, that's... I've seen people sort of toss and turn between the boots or the chest piece. You've opted for the to not have a tunic. How come?
I don't think I need the tunic that much in this deck. And also the Meridian Pathway can have Ward 3.
Yeah.
I think that can be pretty strong against Kano.
Yeah, just to have that, that Spell Void effectively. Just on tap. Spell Void 3 is really strong. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. The Crown of Reflections instant ability text, does that ever become...
Oh, let me read this card. Okay.
Okay, so the answer's no then.
I didn't use it yet.
Fair enough.
I was using it with Prism before in the old days.
Yeah, because this was basically a way you were basically having a once per turn Meridian Pathway Swipperoo kind of
the
turn.
good old Arcanite Skullcap days.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so this is your Iris list. It's very, very solid, but you're very kindly, which we're not going to go into a big deal of. We'll just do a snapshot, right? We've also got another list for us, which I'll put it in the link below as well. It's a Refractor list. It looks a lot more... There's a lot of cards that we should expect, but I'm just going to pretty much just touch over that. You're throwing in a lot more attack Phantasm-based stuff, right? With the Spears of Serality, Spectral Prowler. You've also thrown in the Spectral Manifestations, a card that I think you can just see ties into Refractor very well because the base attack becomes 5. It costs 2 to attack. It doesn't have Go Again, but Enigma makes this a 1 cost. Yeah, so what is this Reality Refractor list doing over your Iris list?
So with the Reality Refractor list, it doesn't have the Spectra cards.
Yeah.
And instead, since Refractor itself doesn't give Go Again, I wanted to add some other Go Again cards.
Yeah.
So the reason why I built the Refractor list is just to kind of meme on my opponents. So I can create a pretty big Spectral shield with Spectral Manifestation, and then maybe put an Astral Etchings on it, so it has 6 counters, and then just attack for 11. And I really just want to do attacking for 11 with my Tunic resource. That gets even better.
Right.
So you can block with all 4 cards, and if the opponent doesn't come true, then you can attack for 11, and I want to do that.
Fair enough. Does this list though actually, is this, like you're saying, you built it for the memes, is this actually pretty good? Is it targeting a certain meta quite well?
I think there is something to it. So it can be pretty efficient, even if you just create a new Spectral Shield every other turn. As example, if you have a blue card and a red Spectral Manifestation, then you create a Spectral Shield with 3 counters, and this is attacking for 8 then.
Yeah.
And you have also the ward 1. So it's a 9 for 2 again. So 9 power for 2 cards.
Mm.
And the upside, if you can protect this Spectre Shield with the Tunic, so if you have a defense reaction in the arsenal, and also maybe use some armor to defend this, it can swing the game pretty fast. I think against aggressive decks, Reality Refractor can be a good choice. So you can put pressure on them with even defending a lot.
Okay. Well, check out the list. This one's definitely we're not just going to go diving too hard into. It is below. Try them out. But thank you so
All about having fun.
Yeah, all about having fun. So thank you so much, Max, for bringing along the an Enigma list, 2 Enigma lists, and neither of them runs her signature weapon. Bah! But that's
What better time to test stuff in the first week?
Yeah, no, 100%. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you would just like to just do a shout out to wrap up this whole thing?
Let me see.
Value
I have a
vampires?
special shout out.
Oh, go.
A shout out to the Japanese stores, Blue Peace.
Yeah.
I did play an armory there, and they washed the floor with me. I was
Oh,
0-3 there,
oh
but
man.
I had to land it. And also shout out to Tokyo Fab. It's another store in Japan, and I could get a pretty nice playlist there. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, very good, very good. And big shout out as well to your team, Value Vampires, which is the growing scene. As I can see, you've enlisted Florin just recently. So
Yes.
yeah, you guys are quickly becoming the wolf pack of Europe. If I
Some people call us that.
the meme there is, if people don't know, the Wolfpack had like, I don't know, 1,000 members or something. You know, their team was easily, half of America. So
Yeah, it was pretty quiet about the Wolfpack.
yeah, well, but now you guys are showing up and you're just, I don't know, man, you're just soaking up all the top players from everywhere. Watch out. But no, I'm only joking. I'm winding you up. Value Vampires from Germany, they've been performing incredibly well, obviously with yourself with the Pro Tour runner-up as well. And you guys managed to also do incredibly well at Warsaw. So keep your eyes out, everyone. Max, thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll catch you later.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.